What's up, everybody, and welcome to another video with the Georgia Assassin. It is getting to be mid-December here in Georgia. I believe today is December the 15th. Yeah, December the 15th. So today I want to talk to you guys a little bit about what do we do now as far as deer hunting goes. For those of you who have a buck tag left or just looking to kill some more does, that's what we're going to talk about. Let's go. Okay, so this time of the year is a great time to go ahead and get the corn back in the feeders. I personally stopped putting corn in my feeders during the late October phase as the pre-rut's beginning to kind of ramp up. A couple reasons. One is the water oaks are usually dropping early October. The white oaks are starting to drop. So pretty much, based on my cameras anyways, all I was doing was feeding the raccoons, the possums, the crows, the chipmunks, the squirrels. So I just choose to not. Feed them and hold my corn back for later in the year once the rut is finally over. Okay, so when the rut is here, we all know what to do during the rut, and the secret to the rut is simply this: if you've got the does there, if the does are holding in your property, then there will be bucks there. No telling what the caliber is going to be. That's just all on the hunter to decide what he's looking for, or things of that nature. But once the rut's over, the deer are tired and worn out. They're thinned out from just the chase. So I've noticed on my cameras it is December the 15th, and I have not had a single picture of a deer for the last week and a half. And I believe this is true, or the reason why this is happening is because the does that live on my property have been pushed out by bucks. I mean, they've been ran for weeks. So moving on, there is we'll talk about that later. I was going to talk about the second rut, as everybody refers to it as, but we'll talk about that here in a little bit. So now what do? I'm going to put the corn back in the feeder at this point. Second week in December, that way everything's had time to calm down. I've noticed going back and forth to work that the does are starting to group back up. As I go by fields and whatnot, I'll see 3-4 does packing back up. So that's a good sign, because to me that insinuates everything's calming down. I'll get the corn back out as they make their way back into their home territories or ranges. They'll feel more comfortable coming to those vulnerable spots, which would be your bait station. Deer are prey. I mean, that's the purpose. I mean, they are prey, born and bred. So they are very aware that the bait station, or wherever they go for food, is one of their most vulnerable points to be killed by coyotes, humans, bears, whatever that may be, based depending on where you live. So everything should be getting back to normal about this time, so I'm going to go ahead and start putting corn back in my feeders in an attempt to bring the does back. Now we'll move on to the second rut. So mid-December, you put your corn back in your feeders. I mean, some of you probably have ran corn the whole time. As I told you before, I don't, and you know the reasons. So I'm going to go ahead and put corn back in the feeders and hope I catch does passing back through in an attempt to find their home range. So during the rut, the mature does generally get bred first. They're the ones that come into the estrus cycle first, and the younger does, the yearling does, they come in later, which is why you've heard of the second rut. And it can come in, on average, where I live, hunting Jackson, Madison, Cherokee counties, it usually ranges from the third week in December through about January the 1st. I've seen giant bucks chasing little yearling does, I mean, to the point of where this particular doe in mine, she tripped over a down tree, fell, and I thought she killed herself. I did. I thought it was over. I mean, she tripped and her neck bent backwards, tongue hanging out. Only for me to notice about 40 yards further away, it was a really, really, really nice buck just trailing her, waiting on her to kind of give in. Because those young does, they don't know, what's going on. Not when they're in a yearling. So For me, the goal is going to be to pull the does back in there, get them feeling comfortable. I'm going to do my best to not shoot a mature doe because I have bucked out. I have no more buck tags, so I am on official 100% doe patrol. And my tactic, since I can't kill a buck, is to go for those smaller does because I'm in it to self-process a deer for jerky through the winter time. So if the mature does come in, there's nothing wrong with taking the mature does, but just think of this: mature does have, on average, of two fawns a year. So a yearling doe, they're going to have one fawn unless it's a weird situation. Mature does are going to have two. So, and they're all bred at this point. For the majority are. It's your yearling does that have been missed. So as your mature does come in, you come back to your corn. I'm going to attempt to not take a shot at a mature doe because I'm taking out 3 deer out of the herd at that point. I'm not really interested in doing that because, you know, I'm not in a dire situation for the meat. If you are, so be it. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with it. My tactic is I'm going to hold back a little bit on that. So when those does start coming back in, if your goal is to kill the buck, you've still got a tag that you're waiting to fill. What I would do is once those doe come in, get them back on your property as quick as you can. Put the corn to them, put the molasses to them. They're not touching salt blocks in my area right now, but I've got a trace mineral block out still. And as those does come back, when they come back, the bucks will come back, period. And they're going to go back to their old ways. They're going to be, you know, nocturnal. They're going to be like ghosts. But if you've got the yearling does there, or does in general, preferably yearling does, the bucks are going to be trying to wait them out at a distance. And you know, you just have to be there when it happens. That's the best thing to say. You have to be there when it happens. But now's the time to get the corn back out. Most of the does are bred. If you want to kill some more does, now's the time to do it over the next 2 or 3 weeks. I believe deer season in Georgia runs till January the 14th in this year, 2019. So I'll probably get in a few more hunts. But I'm going to probably start my transition onto my next thing, which is this year we'll be doing some striper fishing. We're going to go to Carter's Lake. I'm going to take you guys with me. And me and my father-in-law usually go and striper fish. You know, February or in March. That's when we like to go striper fishing, prior to turkey season. I haven't been a huge fan of hunting turkeys. They just don't do it for me like deer do. For me, to this point in my life, I mean, seeing a turkey is about like seeing a squirrel. You know, they just don't give me that heart pounding, you know, target kind of feeling that you get when you see a big deer or any deer. Because Lord knows I get doe fever, and sometimes it's hard to help myself not shooting all of the does. But so that's what I'm going to attempt to do. I did go hunting last weekend on my property in Madison County. I'll show you a few clips of that now. So as you can see, it was a pretty slow day. Didn't see anything. Only saw probably 5 or 6 squirrels. It was a good day to be there though. You can tell the woods are definitely quieting back down to about like normal conditions. And that's, you know, you go during the rut and you're subject to this, just a heightened sense of excitement. Anything could happen at any time. The best thing that could ever happen to you is a hot doe come through. And you know, after you see them a couple times, on the video where I took the 2 bucks, prior to the spider web segment, where I just kind of got bored and started filming for some filler because I didn't know what would happen. If you look close at the video, for those of you who have not seen or missed that particular thing, there was one doe that came through on the right of the screen and then went from right to left. I knew she was a hot doe based on her trot and her mannerisms at the time. So then that's stuff that you'll learn if you can catch that pre-rut phase when just learning the deer, learning how they react, learning how they posture themselves, and stuff like that. So anyways, that was my hunt from last Saturday. I didn't get enough to make a video, obviously, but still a good time. I'm glad I went. It's nice to kind of measure where we're at. Well, now that I know I've been in the woods, it was dead. You could have if it weren't for the wind, you could have heard a pin drop. So now I know where we're at. So that's my tactic. I'm gonna get the corn back in there. I'm gonna try to take down another doe or two. Just depends on what comes in, depends on what hits me. I know I have a plan, but that sometimes does not work out right. So, but anyways, thanks for watching. I hope this video helps make some sense of what I'm going to be doing now to try to pursue deer at this point of the year, and maybe it'll help some of you out as well. That's what my hopes are. Well, thanks for watching. If you have not subscribed already, please do so. I've got a lot more videos to come, and as the different seasons come on throughout the year, we'll be changing from to whatever's happening, whether it be catfishing or striper fishing or turkey hunting, whatever. You're with me. So yeah, and to all of the people who have subscribed to my channel, thank you so much for doing that. I'm gonna keep bringing the videos to you. I'll see you on the next one.